What's happening, fellas? We have got a treat for you today. We are at Chip Watkins Private Museum here, and he's got some stunning machines in here. Some of them you might recognize. We'll get over to those in a second, but this first one here, when I walked in the door, I heard angels singing when I saw this, and I was like, ah! Chip, tell us about this stunning piece.
Well, this was, I've always, kind of been a historical buff about motocross because it's such a large piece of my life when I was younger. And these CCMs were a, kind of a pipe dream of putting a BSA motor in a competitive motorcycle frame. Now, people can argue whether they were or they're not. But it's a very unique piece. When I got this bike, I bought it at an auction, and it was not in anywhere close to this condition. And I don't know if I'll ever do another one. There is no parts. You have to fabricate anything that is broken or doesn't work or that you need. And so they came with nickel-plated frames. So we took it all the way down to the frame, took the motor, just redid everything to the whole bike and polished it up. And I even put a stainless chain on it so it matched the frame. And just kind of, it's taken me over a year to get parts. The stock forks, when I got this bike, guy had a Husqvarna on the front end, and he had bored the triple clamps out and made them 42 millimeters. And the stock forks on this one were not, they were 38s, so I had to reconstruct a brand new pair of triple trees for this thing, using some Mako parts and some fabricated parts, and put it back together. But I just like the history of the bike, and everything's just so cool about it. Like the oil is in the frame. It's really a true side oiler type motor, and it's just got tons of compression. It's only got 3 gears because that's all you need with that motor to pull this motorcycle. And this bike is a 550 CCM, which actually won the 500 championship with back in 78 or 77. This is a 78 model. And that Vic Eastwood, he was kind of the writer for this thing that really was really good thing. You look him up on the internet, he's all over the place. But, they're all a little bit different, each one of these, because they were kind of assembled into the CCM plant, but they needed BSA motors. They switched the rims that they were using from time to time, so they're all a little bit different. And that bar you are looking at, that's what hangs it. We're going to get ready to hang this one up into the museum up there.
This will be in the ceiling a little bit later today, right? We're the lucky last people to see it on the ground.
But this took me forever, and there's very few of them, and I just think it's a cool bike, and I like everything about it. So that's the reason we redid this one.
Chip, this bike has a special place in my heart. When I was just a little kid, 8 years old, my first time at the Middleborough Capeway Rovers racetrack, I was in the pits and they were running mostly two-strokes then, and I hear this booming monster of a bike, and I ran over to the fence, and it was this, pretty much, I guess, the twin to this. The guy that we did a video with, the guy who has that bike, or one of the CCMs that was running in New England back in the day, but it just had such a unique sound. It sounded so powerful and loud compared to all the two-strokes, and 550 cc's of this. I mean, if you looked up Thumper in the dictionary or Wikipedia, this should be the picture for it.
I'm going to tell you, this thing it takes more oil to run that motor. I'm not a BSA expert, but as you can see, we're pumping oil from here up to the valves and the cam and all that kind of stuff to run the bike. And then the oil comes from the frame down here. It comes from the frame up here in the main tube. There's your filter down here, which is spring loaded. And you fill the oil up here at the top. And it's just a very unique bike. And I got to tell you, when we were taking this thing on that motor, I thought I had it all out, and I'd turn it sideways and more oil would come out. I mean, this thing was full of oil. And the pipe, when you crank these things, the pipe is so short. That's where you're getting that noise from. I mean, there's just nothing there. I mean, it looks like a pair of, what do you call the Harley pipes, the short ones?
Straight pipes.
Yeah, there you go. And that's exactly, but it's a single cylinder, and it's just sounds like it fires over every other stroke, kind of a deal. And but it's a real thumper.
Is that a metal tank?
It's an aluminum tank.
Aluminum.
It's an aluminum tank, really lightweight. I was surprised at how light it was when we took it off. But
So tell us about CCM. Who is CCM?
CCM
for the-
is a company that was designed to use the BSA went out of business. They purchased a lot of the motors and they were putting them in. They actually made street bikes. They made a trials bike. They made motocross bikes. They made enduro bikes, and they didn't sell a whole lot of them. And a lot of them didn't cross the pond over here at all. And a lot of my parts for this I had to outsource from over in Europe. But it's that they just used. The guy was a true believer in the BSA motor, and because of all the torque that it provided, and so he was thinking the torque could be more competitive than the horsepower part of some of the newer motors. So he kept this thing living on for a while, even after BSA was gone, and that's really the story behind CCM.
The guy I know from Rhode Island who has one of these that raced in New England, probably the one I saw in '73, he said they're very fast, and you really only need a couple gears with this thing on the track.
Yeah, they're so torquey you don't need it. I mean, you can stay in one gear and do anywhere from 15 miles an hour to 45 miles an hour.
Just a beautiful piece. Everything on it, the fit and finish is spectacular. You fired it up. It's a loud sucker, isn't it?
It makes some noise. That short pipe did show. And the tire's pretty huge on the back of that thing too to try to hold it down, but
That's the biggest Dunlop made, isn't it?
yeah. But it ended up polishing up pretty good and repainting it, but I mean we had took every single part of this thing down. It's a true rebuild, and it's the craziest engineering you've ever seen. You got your rear brake on the left side, your starter on the right side. Look at that brake cable. That's just a cable coming off, and look at that adjuster up there. It's the craziest thing. You can move that power tool out of the way.
That's like a reverse. Usually the adjuster's in the back, right?
Yeah. But
You adjust it up here.
now look at the rear axle. There's no adjustment for the chain. Now go up to the swing arm. That's your swing arm moves up and back. Now, to me, that doesn't ring real true because after taking this thing apart, your shocks are only a certain length, right?
That's a good point.
So how can you go? But it's that British engineering,
Does it
Cars
act-
are different. And
So how does that work?
motorcycles.
How would it go back farther?
It actually has a cam in here, and as you move this bolt, it'll get shorter or longer here. But it actually affects the height of the swing arm as well. It's a crazy design. Like any of this stuff on this bike is a crazy design. Here's a piece right here, just made to hold the motor. There's no oil that runs through there. It's not made to move oil from one side to the other. It's just there. Then you've got this crazy piece, which does move oil from one side of the valves to the other side of the valves, going into where the compression release is.
So-
You need that to start it, by the way.
So of course. That bar right there, is that just to lift the engine up to get it in the frame?
I guess. I mean, your guess is as good as as mine. I lifted the thing from the bottom. I was afraid it's just hollow aluminum, but there's no oil coming up through that thing. It's just crazy the way this thing is. Just like the frame holding the oil. That's not that crazy, and the braking system on it works. There's a cam on both sides that actually work with one lever. Normally, when they started doing that, you had two levers that were opposed and they pulled on each other. It's I don't know.
Right side shifter, left side brake.
Yes. Yep.
At least the kicker's on the right side.
And the funny thing about it is, look at the starter on that. You would think that kickstarter came off a street bike. Look at the size, look how short it is, and look how big the rubber is on that thing.
Now this engine was used in street bikes too, right? In Isle of Man racers and road racers, and it was a very popular racing engine. So they must have had it completely dialed in. That's why CCM saw the beauty in racing this against the Elsinore 250s and Mako 401s and that kind of thing. They had a 550 thumper that was dialed
will
in.
tell you something that's special about the motocross bike. The cylinder there that you're looking at, they call that a clam-shaped vent or fins. And it's not that it cooled it faster. They thought it wouldn't hold as much mud.
Oh, wow.
That was part of the engineering there.
Huh.
And the pipe is held on by springs and one bolt. It's crazy. And the air box is also the same box that holds the CDI unit that powers the motorcycle. And the wiring was a mess on this thing. We had to really work hard to straighten that out. But anyway, it came out great. It's something I wanted for the collection, and I think the color scheme and everything just looks good. And as far as I know, I haven't, and I hang around bikes a little bit. This is the best looking CCM I've ever seen.
I have to second that. When I walked in the door, like I said, I was like just blown away by this bike. It's stunning. It looks like it would really work well. The long travel laid down shocks. They had the lay down shocks dialed in. The first generation of mono shocks and Pro Links, the first couple of years, I don't think they were that good. But a great set of twin shocks like this and a long travel set of forks.
Triple springs too.
Triple rate springs, yeah.
And you know, the thing about it is too, this fender is very deep. It actually has more travel than what you're visually seeing with your eye.
Yep.
Because the fender's about, I don't know, it's 3.5 inches up in there.
Sure.
But that's just...
Are these a new set of shocks you put on it, or are
No, those are rebuilt original things that came on the bike. And in '78, that rings pretty true because you had your triples and your double spring shocks. So that was kind of the thing that came on there, and they were just getting into the gas-powered, gas or nitrogen shocks and so forth and so on.
the couple guys I met that raced these? They were hanging out in this garage. I bought a couple bikes from him, and they had one of these, and he said it was extremely fast and very competitive, highly competitive machine. But how many do they produce? Do you know?
I have no idea, and you can go online. And there's all kind of talk about what there was and what there wasn't. Now the 550s were very rare. The 500s, and I think they had a 604. I think. Yeah, they were hanging that Marty Smith bike right there.
Signed by Marty Smith.
Yeah.
It's a Marty Smith factory racer. Stunning.
But they were extremely competitive. I know that having went around motocross, if I had this motor in there, I think it's a heavier bike, but can you imagine not having to shift twice as much, which is only 3 gears? Wouldn't that be a pleasure?
On the right track, like a hard packed track.
Away into a moto.
This thing would be magic. If you don't get the whole shot on this, just go home.
Yeah, especially with that tire. Look at the tire that came on that thing.
Hey, if it looks good, kill. This thing is lethal. Thanks for sharing this beauty with us. Well done. It's just a stunning piece you have here. Thanks for watching. God bless Britain. God bless the United States of America.